So, welcome back to the channel, folks. It's Dale from Painting Outlaw Studios, and I've got something old again for you. Now, we did the journal the other day. Well, I've got the earliest one that I could find within my stash of stuff in my room of shame, and we've got the Citadel Journal Spring 85. Look at the price, £1.50. Yeah, these, it's a little bit before these when I started collecting stuff and getting stuff. But yeah, this will take you right back to those that were around at the time, or those that are relatively new to the hobby, especially Citadel and Games Workshop. You probably may find this a bit interesting and a bit gobsmacking, how far it goes back and how much things have changed. So here we go, opening up. And you've got your card buildings that you could cut out. Yep. And there you are. That's what we had. That was our scenery. So yeah, you've also got on here as well. Let me see if I can zoom in. There we go. Welcome to the first Citadel Journal. Then you've got Citadel Open Day, 1985, the start of plastics. I'm talking about the plastics. Yeah, it was certainly a different time. Then look at the typing and the font. So yeah, you got all your contents with introduction, bubbling under who's who at Citadel, painting with oils, slaughter bases, how to get the best from them. That's when the slaughter bases started to come in, about 1985. I can't remember exactly which period during 85, but obviously it must have been just before spring or around spring. Then you've got various different things on Chaos, Gaiax and Gorgaz, something on One Step Beyond, something to do with John Blanche. Then you've got your photos, Realm of Chaos, additions to the compendium selection, Arcane Armorials, Warhammer Amendments, Art Gallery, Regiments of Renown. Yeah, Regiments of Renown, folk, go all the way back to 85 and before then. Yeah, interesting there. Here's your who's who. So, Brian Ansell to the left, Diane Ansell in the centre. I think that's John Stallard, Rick Priestley, Tony Ackland, a very early John Blanche, some of the mail order folk, somebody else that used to work on the journal. And there's Dave Andrews, bless him. Yeah. And then you've got painting with oils. They used to give you ideas and, tell you how to do things in oil and stuff, but I never did that myself. I was never a big oil fan. I think I only tried it once and thought, no, it's not for me. Then you've got all your colour guides and everything. All this here, look, about dry brushing, doing furs and things. This was our sort of first painting guide, really. It tells you how to use your new slaughter bases. Because obviously, yes, there was some as diagonal, you had to punch them through. Then later, I believe it came to a diagonal and a horizontal all in the same one. You had to push them through. So, yeah, Gaiax and Gorgaz. That was always an interesting read. That fired my imagination. Yeah, really good stuff. And obviously, your formations, artwork, lovely bit of artwork. Your formations and different things to do with uniforms and stuff always in this article on Gorgaz and Gaiax. So, One Step Beyond, John Blanche, expert tips on painting and converting. Yeah. and it still goes on, the painting bit now, the artwork and various different things, where to shade, where to highlight. Yeah, it's everything you needed really. This is when I thought, Citadel was, which eventually merged with Games Workshop, but I think this is where it was very in touch with its customers, very in touch, very helpful as well. There you go, plastic Fighting Fantasy 60mm figure. Ninjas, which are available from War Games Foundry. They're not on the slotter at War Games Foundry. They're, teardrop base, as I call them. It's John Blanche's artwork, Tony Ackland, scratch built building by Dave Andrews. These were all done out of card, and some of the windows and stuff were the arcane architecture. This period, Dave used to have stuff in a shop down the bottom of a hill where I used to live, and it was always full in the front windows of dioramas and stuff that him and his friends have done. It was very inspirational at the time. One of the things that got me hooked. Then you've got the Wizard at the top, and this one here. These are all the figures that are around at the time. Some of these you'll notice, these are available from Foundry from the War of the Roses range. So yeah, you can get them still. And this is what you got. These were your catalogues or your additions to your compendium. They were all drawings. Yeah, the old CO1 Fighters range. The Wizards. These eventually went to Slaughter Base. I've got some of these on Slaughter Base. The Clerics here went to Slaughter Base. The controversial ones that Citadel and Games Workshop don't like to be reminded of is the Pygmies. Yeah, they're not PC today, but to be fair, they've still got some charm to them, and they're very hard to find, and if you do find any, people want stupid money for them. So, quite offensive probably to folks nowadays. But at the time, it was what it was, and, people bought them. But it was a different time then. So you've got all your young monsters here, dragons and things. So, gnomes, they used to do gnomes, folks. So, then all your creatures, and chaos demons and stuff like that. So, and then they had the mounted adventurers. Now, these are quite good. I used to love these. You got your half-orc hero. I've got that somewhere, and I've got this elf hero as well, foot and mounted. I never got the rogue, and I never got the wizard. And they're hard to come by, to be fair. Most of these are probably suffering from lead rot, if you do find any. Your demons at the bottom here, elementals. Still find them on eBay. Chaos warriors. Different to what they are now. So, oops, I think I've skipped a page. Yeah, spaceships and dreadnoughts. So these were the small ones. A bit like the modern day stuff you get now. And then your price list. I mean, this is where you'll all get shocked. Regiments of Renown, Bugmans and all that lot. £4.50. What it was, you got your either a standard bearer and I think 8 normal rank and file, then you got a musician and rank and file, you got your hero, and so on and so forth. But yeah, some of these were brilliant, absolutely brilliant. They are, look, Citadel paints, 60p. How much are they now? Yeah, look, individual figures still 60p. When I started buying them, they were 30p. So, yeah, halflings, dark elves, high elves, and then these here, your trolls, because he was a larger, obviously, he charged more. But yeah, Giant Demon, £3.95. Yeah, Battle Trucks. Gaiac Attack, which is obviously under the Lone Wolf label. That was a nice set, to be fair. Then we've got all the Lord of the Rings stuff that they had at the time. £1.95. These were cracking set of figures as well. Chronicle. They were all Nick Bibby's stuff, if I remember rightly. They ended up being in Grenadiers range at one point. Yeah, your box sets, look, Chaos, Dwarf King's Court. Yeah, Goblin Raiders, Knights of Law, White Dwarf personalities. Yeah. Arcane Monstrosities. Dwarf Juggernaut. Orc War Wyvern. Yeah. Warhammer Fantasy Battles 2nd edition. £9.95. Forces of Fantasy original supplement to 1st edition. £6.95. Warhammer posters £2.95. Your paint sets £4.95. And here we go. You've got all your colour sets, told you what was in the sets, told you how to use them. And we've got dragons. Yeah. It's taking me back a long way, folks. Modax Mercenary Maniacs. Elwing's Elven Guard Cavalry. They were beautiful. I have got a large amount of these and I must get them sorted. But these were really beautiful figures. You know, absolutely beautiful. Lizard Men. Weren't my cup of tea, but again, they were nice figures. They are gargoyles. These were the first ones to have the clear plastic flying bases. So, yeah. Elven City Guardsmen. Again, another beautiful set of figures. It's difficult to find the musician, and if you find the standard bear, it tends to be that the standard top snapped, unfortunately. So, Hobgoblins. There we go, Adventure starter sets. Monster starter sets. Now, here's your Lord of the Rings. Completely different to what you get now. Dead Men of Dunarrow. Gimli. Lord of the Nazgul. Warhag Riders. Legolas. Frodo. Bjorn and Werebear. Sauron. The Dark Lord. Barrow Whites. They ended up within Citadel range itself at one point. Half Orcs, Rohirrim, Easterlings. I don't think, to be fair, in that Lord of the Rings range, there was any bad figures amongst them. I mean, still look well and stand up now. Lone Wolf official 25mm figures. Yeah. Then you've got Chronicle figures. Let me say these ended up in Grenadier miniatures hands at one point. Battle cars. That's your Gaiac Attack. That was absolutely gorgeous set. Golden Heroes, look. There's another game that was around at the time. So, yeah, this is my original copy back from when, here we go, look. There's your compendium. I'm sure I've got that somewhere. I'm sure I have, but I don't know where exactly. Got these rules still. Yeah, this is the first dabbling into Warhammer that I did. I played a few games of 2nd edition. But as I said, in my previous video on these, it was the Vikings and feudal range and things that got me into it in a big way. reader's art, amendment to the second edition rules. More artwork. And this is, we pointed out earlier, the regiments of renown. Well, each regiment that was featured in this had a, introduction of what they were, breakdown of a bit of history on the equipment and things to give you information for painting them, really. And all the back history. It was really, really good. All your stats. Knights of Origo. These are a lovely set of figures. So, again, all your information. Golfag's regiment of mercenary ogres. They ended up being done again, if you remember rightly, for 5th edition. They were re-sculpted, and that's where the name came from, for the Dogs of War set. Hobgoblin Despoilers. They weren't a bad set. These are Mad Muller Ackland's Death Commandos. They were a lovely set of figures as well. Yeah. Arbroath and the Black Mountain Boys. There's your gargoyles, look. The flying gargoyles of Bard. Grom's Goblin Guard. That's before Grom became a major character later on and things. Arfolk Mercenaries. And these were your first edition of your Bugman's Rangers. These were all on solid bases. So was those. I think these eventually went to slaughter bases. But yeah. Sorry about this, folks. Then you've got Notlob's Orcish bolt throwing engines. The Bowmen of the Wood Elf Prince Orion. These were all solid bases at this point, and they transferred to slaughter base. No, these didn't transfer to slaughter bases. There was another set made after, which was slaughter bases. Lothern City Guard. These were definitely slaughter based, and gives you all the information and all the uniform details and everything on there. And they're, same as say, a lovely set of figures. These were brilliant. I remember these at the time. I've managed to get some over the few years. But yeah, gorgeous figures they are. Mengel Manhide's Company of Dark Elves. I think the Mengel Manhides ended up coming out in 6th edition Warhammer as a regiment of renown for Dogs of War. Completely different to these. Chariots. Yep. There you go, look. All your different, writings and answers and things. Richard Halliwell. That there, Dave Andrews and his mates made, that's a copy of the Citadel emblem at the time. And then archaic abodes. This is how you put your buildings together and add on bits that you wanted to. So yeah, that's the scenery we had, folks, back in the day. Nothing like you can get hold of now. No 3D prints, no resin. Yeah. And then on the back we've got yet another building. So here you had to choose which one you wanted. The decisions in life we had to make. Yeah. So yes, folks, that's a trip down memory lane for myself, and I hope you all enjoyed it. So yeah, Citadel Journal, Spring 85. So you can see how things have changed, folks, since then. No drawings of figures nowadays. So yeah, well, I hope you've travelled all the way through this to the end with me. If you do like this content and you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Please like and share if you want to. It'd be much appreciated. So yeah, so this is me signing out, and hopefully I'll see you all again at some point. And yeah, cheers, folks. Goodbye.